Hello all, welcome to today's session covering tips, tricks, and shortcuts for greater productivity with ETAP 2024. My name is Josh Mercado, and I'm eager to share some of these time-saving handy tools and features available to you in our latest ETAP release. For this webinar, we'll discuss the various methods available for connecting or embedding external information directly into your ETAP project. We'll also explore how to maximize the added capabilities of the component toolbar. We'll then discover existing and improved methods for organizing or building your one-line diagram. We'll then dive into critical clipboard improvements and how to leverage shortcut customization. Lastly, we'll learn about a few advanced preferences used to help clarify one-line information and customize behaviors. When it comes to connecting and embedding information directly in your one-line, OLE objects in ETAP have been upgraded with a new behavior of being able to effortlessly drag and drop from your file system directly into your one-line. This includes PDFs, docs, Excel, text, and images. This makes it much easier to incorporate component photos or nameplates, and even embed company logos and watermarks. These dynamically editable files become available within your ETAP project. Another way to connect and embed information is through the new document tagging pane. This window provides a means to easily add, edit, and preview diagram and component hyperlinks. Some common applications include linking PDFs or OEM catalogs or operation manuals, viewing equipment photos captured and merged from ETAP app, as well as associating reference reports or drawings. Let's switch over to ETAP and take a closer look. The document tagging window pane can be accessed from the View tab on the ribbon bar. Once enabled, you'll be able to show and hide this lower portion window pane, as well as pin it. The list of tags dynamically updates based off what is selected. When nothing is selected, the presentation links will be shown. In this presentation, we have a hyperlink to etap.com as well as one to the ETAP Resource Center. If any component is selected, then the hyperlinks displayed in the document tagging window will be those that are assigned to that specific component. In this case, we can see that T2 has a photo from the field associated with it. To view the associated photo, simply double-click on the file name. To associate a new photo, simply drag and drop any file from your system directly into the document tagging window pane while a component or multiple components are selected. Similarly, if we had not selected any components while dragging and dropping, the resulting document tags would be associated with the entire presentation and appear as a hyperlink on the drawing. Let's snap the document tagging window pane to the right side to get some more vertical space, then select all components so that we can see all the tags associated with the entire selection. ETAP text boxes have expanded to include a variety of new shapes, giving you abundant options for annotations on your one-line. Converting text boxes into QR codes allows you to now dynamically access information or links even from printed drawings. Some applications include embedding manufacturer portal links as well as analysis results. Go ahead and scan any of these QR codes you see on the screen to see the details of what was embedded inside. We've enhanced the component toolbox with the following features: component search, favorites, centralized building methods, alternate views, as well as scalable icons. Let's take a look at it in ETAP. The component toolbox can be found on the right side edit pane while in the edit mode or pencil icon. You'll first notice that at the very top, the building modes, such as the manual selection pointer, auto-build, auto-complete, and auto-connect have all been brought together in a single place so that you can toggle between these different modes of building your drawing more easily. Directly right-click the component toolbox in order to access the new features. This includes List View, where you can see the names of the components alongside the symbol itself. Search Box, which allows you to directly look for the name of a component and filter the list accordingly. Show Favorites, in which case you can right-click individual components to add them to your favorites list. And lastly, the icons themselves are now scalable so that you can increase or decrease the size accordingly for your own viewing preference. Now let's take a look at the diagram building and organization features that have been added. Composite networks in ETAP have always been a great tool for condensing the one line into nested and dynamically linked subsystems. Traditionally though, you would add a composite network symbol, double-click to open the network, place the views side by side, then select the desired portion of the system of the main diagram, move the selection into the nested network, and recreate any connections between those external and internal systems through composite network pins or remote connectors. A huge improvement we've made upon this recently is to simplify all those steps into a single reduce to composite network option. As you can see here, you can simply select portions of the system, then click Reduce to Composite Network to directly add all the selection into a network and make connections to external components accordingly. Similarly, extracting the contents of a composite network would typically involve placing the internal and external composite views side by side, then selecting the contents within the network, move those contents out of the network, delete the empty network, then recreate any broken connections. All can now be done with a single simple expand action. This will extract the contents of the composite network to the outer drawing grouped with remote connections as needed, allowing for quick and easy reorganization of your systems. Both the Reduce and Expand options are available from the View tab on the ribbon bar or from the right-click menu itself. Historically, the option to contextually hide components was limited to protective and switching devices, such as breakers, switches, fuses, CTs, relays, etc. For other element types, the theme editor offered ways to categorically hide different component types. However, this offered limited flexibility. A recent addition of the OLV context option, hide and unhide, now give a straightforward means to contextually decluttering any desired portions of the system. Simple markers help indicate where portions of the system have been hidden. Remote connectors have long since been available in ETAP, allowing you to visibly separate distant portions of the system while keeping them dynamically connected. Although this process involved roughly 6 steps, where you would place the connectors in the side-by-side views, then shift drag to bring over one of the ends, make the connections manually, and rearrange everything to make it all nice and lined up. You now can drop a remote connector directly on a connection line to immediately split the connection and place the ends appropriately at each end. Similarly, deleting any remote connector end will immediately recreate the direct connection between the separate components. If they were in separate views, ETAP will automatically create composite network pins where necessary. As helpful as remote connectors can be, they were never able to properly handle the segmentation of extremely long buses. To address this, the split right-click option was added allowing you to separate a single bus symbol into multiple segments. The separate segments represent the same bus, meaning the properties are identical, and the operations such as faulting or changing service apply to all segments. This can be particularly helpful with reorganizing elongated single bus systems to more easily be printed or viewed in separate pages or even nested networks. Note that overlapping segments of the same bus will rejoin them together. Auto-build downstream alignment was a big step towards automatically arranging the system. However, it was not well suited for looped or multi-source systems because the operation assumes all connections below the selected anchor should be radially placed. To address this, targeted downstream alignment was added, meaning you could selectively specify the sections of a meshed system to arrange. Select the desired connected elements to align, then hold Ctrl and select the last anchor element. Perform the auto-build downstream alignment to see the targeted alignment in action. While autocomplete is enabled, quickly add common subsequent components while hovering over buses or available connector pins. We've now tied this feature to auto-build rules, so while both auto-build and autocomplete are enabled, suggested components are not only connected, but also spaced according to the auto-build rulebook. And finally, component classification provides an extremely flexible method for grouping and identifying elements in your system however you see fit. Let's switch over to ETAP so we can see how to set up and make use of component classification. To enable component classification, let's first switch over to the View tab. From here, we can click on Classification pane. This window has two sub-tabs, one called Hierarchy and another called Instances. The Hierarchy tab allows us to define different types of classification and their sublevels. In this example, there's existing classifications for graphical representation, responsibility, and layer. To add additional classifications, simply use the options at the top of the window. Let's switch over to the Instances tab. Here we have a drop-down selection list at the bottom of the window to allow us to choose one of the classifications that we've defined in the hierarchy. I'm going to go ahead and select responsibility to build out a responsibility class. I'll first hit the plus sign to add a new instance below responsibility, and if you recall, this first node was for the director, so I'm going to go ahead and call this one director A. And reporting to the director will be project manager, and reporting to the project manager will be engineer 1 as well as engineer 2. We can go ahead and customize the colors applied to each of these classes however we see fit. What I'll now do is I will associate components from the drawing itself with the individuals that are responsible. So I will select the individual, so let's say engineer 2. I will click the classify brush, then rubber band select the portion of the drawing that I want that individual to be associated with. and hit apply. ETAP then gathers those components, marks them accordingly, and counts the number that have been associated with that instance. Let's do the same for engineer 1. So I'm going to select engineer 1, click classify, and define some components to associate with engineer 1. Now you'll notice that the count and the color have been updated for engineer 1. Along with that, project manager, who is responsible for both engineer 1 and 2, has also been updated. As we click to select different instances, you will see that the color of the components on the drawing will reflect the selected instance that you're on. If there are sub-instances, then it will show all the colors of that sub-instance if it's expanded. One really handy feature that comes with component classification is the ability to quickly select all components that belong to a specific class. This allows us to perform actions to the entire group in a more organized fashion. Those familiar with ETAP have likely grown accustomed to the dumpster serving as an active clipboard that holds cut or copied elements. The drawback, though, is that this behavior leads to the IDs residing in the dumpster and remaining occupied unless they are purged or moved from the dumpster. To address this, an alternate copy-paste method utilizing the clipboard was added. In version 2024, this method of using the clipboard was set to default, meaning that on the one line, when a component is cut or copied, no elements are added to the dumpster. Here, CB1 is copied and pasted, resulting in CB2 directly without any added components in the dumpster. Similarly, cutting CB2 does not send it to the dumpster. This behavior makes cut, copy, and paste much more intuitive and in line with already existing clipboard functions in other programs. Data Manager provides a comprehensive view of the properties of all elements and revisions in a project. While viewing a single revision in element type, you can leverage the data clipboard to copy a single component's properties to others of the same type directly in the Data Manager table. Here we've selected PVArray1 and copied its data to the data clipboard. We then select PVArray3 and pasted the same data to apply all of the properties of PVA1 to PVA3. This can be repeated as necessary, again, per individual device type. Customizable shortcuts make accessing your favorite ETAP commands a breeze. Let's take a look at ETAP to see how we can do this. From the ribbon bar, right-click anywhere and choose Customize the ribbon. At the bottom of the window, next to Keyboard Shortcuts, click Customize. At the top left, you'll find a list of categories along with related commands for each category. Let's select Auto Build and assign the shortcut key Shift-2. For check circuit continuity, let's assign the shortcut key Shift-6. For edit theme color coding, let's assign Shift-5. And to show or hide grid lines, let's use Shift-3. Now let's take a look at these shortcuts in action. To enable or disable auto build, I will use Shift-2. To enable or disable the grid lines, I will use Shift 3. For continuity check, Shift 6. And to show the theme editor, Shift 5. And in no time at all, we've completely personalized just a few of my favorite ETAP commands. I highly recommend you do the same to get the most out of ETAP 24. For advanced preferences involving snap indicator and spacing, as well as customize flow animation, visit the File backstage and click Preferences. You can also use the shortcut key K, or simply type preferences into the command search. From there, you'll find a couple different categories, but specifically for one line, you'll see that there are two options for snap spacing and snap indicator. With these, you can customize the amount of space applied between the different positions in which you release the components on the drawing. Make this option a multiple of your grid spacing in order to have your components snap to your grid. For flow animations, again, visit Preferences and notice that there are several options to customize your flow marker size, flow marker shape, as well as speed and density of the flow markers. This allows you to customize the flow animations according to your own visual preferences. With the Advanced Context Menu preference enabled, a right-click menu option is added, allowing you to copy a CSV list of the selected components that clarifies their energized and hot statuses. Paste the copied list to Excel for a quick and easy sortable report. Once again, thank you all for attending today's session. It has been a pleasure sharing these features with you. This is by no means a comprehensive video of all the tricks available in ETAP, but I'm certain that incorporating any of these tips will surely have a positive impact on your productivity with ETAP. Take care.